to the deeper love and deeper creativity inside themselves or not. And those who say yes, which is millions of us so far, have not yet been connected, made visible, and made into the news. So
right.
like there is the early phase of the new humanity everywhere on Earth. And we haven't been labeled yet. We haven't been named yet. We haven't been connected yet. And that's the greatest work that can be done now.
That's very inspiring, because there's so many that are walking around and knowing that they're connected and experiencing the compassion and the empathy and the love and the light and being moved into different vocations and callings, and like you said, there's no real identification for it. It's like it's still taking form. It's kind of like it hasn't quite crystallized yet. It's but there's this piece here that we are moving into an alternative of looking at how Armageddon was set up in the New Testament, and what with Planetary Pentecost, and how we can implement that to create more of that collective awareness. Can we talk about your the Planetary Pentecost a little bit in regard to creating that?
Yes, thank you for asking that great question. Well, we all know that the first Pentecost after Jesus' crucifixion was a gathering of the disciples and followers at a time when it was very dangerous to get together, because the Roman Empire was killing people who believed in Jesus. So this first Pentecost had a miracle that happened where the Galilean early disciples were speaking, and suddenly everyone heard it in their own language. And they said, how is it possible that we who come from different languages can understand what they're saying in our own language? And Peter got up and said, this is what has been prophesied by the prophet Joel. In the last days, the Lord will pour Spirit on all flesh. And so what happened was the disciples left there with the powers to heal, to bless, to levitate. They had become like natural Christs. These simple people who had been fishermen and tax collectors and so forth. The idea that I received in this is the alternative to the Armageddon breakdown catastrophe scenario is a planetary Pentecost, where everyone, like you and me on this phone, who are able to hear from within in your own language the inner words of Spirit, will be connected such that the field of consciousness of planet Earth will shift. And I got from Teilhard that the noosphere, or thinking layer of Earth, which is now, of course, the massive social media that we've just recently got in the last 10 years, and cell phones and all that, we are about to be connected as a living system. And if there is this is the vision, if there are enough people like exactly what you're doing on this show, able to infuse the noosphere, or the thinking layer, the global brain, with love, with creativity, with innovation, the system will wake up as that. It's like a newborn baby nervous system. The baby is panicked. It doesn't know it's been born. Humanity is panicked. It doesn't know it's been born. As a new species, as a new global community. It doesn't yet know that, but many of us are beginning to learn it.
Okay.
It's not
that
the
is
news.
A beautiful interpretation, really beautiful interpretation, Barbara. I can see it. It was just in front of my eyes here. But
absolutely.
I see, there's definitely this powerful shift that, like you said, people are waking up, and we're seeing a lot of chaos that seems to happen more frequently right now. And like we know, change comes sometimes with an uncomfortable feeling or an urgency to create change. And as within ourselves, as in our society, it mirrors back to us that discomfort. And
right.
as we're moving through these elements of change and crazy chaos out there, can we still be empowered? I think the audience needs to know that their good thoughts, their good energy is important and valuable to create this change, that it's not up to those people over there doing it or those higher people over there doing the spiritual work. It's a matter of everyone across the board tapping into the Christ-like power and energy and saying, okay, this is how I want to see it. And
yes, you see, it's even a stronger idea than you putting forward. It's almost impossible for those at the top of any existing structure to be the change. You do not hear it in the presidential candidates anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You do not see it at the head of any global corporation. You do not find it at the head of any university. In the Catholic Church, we have Pope Francis, who is a big advantage over what we've had before, but he is not true evolutionary articulation of this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're at the top of an existing structure, you're very unlikely to be the change. You're rather trying to hold on to the structure. Meanwhile, you and I, who are not in existing power systems, but who are empowered by this impulse within us, are the way. We are the way. And what we don't know yet fully is our connectivity and our identity as an emerging humanity.
Amen. It's such a live wire of energy, download, information, connection. We have so many choices every day on what frequency we want to tap into. And it's wisdom from you, people like you, the teachings of what you can provide for the audience, the masses, in the simplicity of connection and thought and how to co-create with that power and presence. It's immeasurable. And I thank you so much for being my guest today. I mean, this has just been so, I feel like we could talk for hours on this, and
well,
we need to revisit this.
Here's what I feel for myself, that I'm 86 years old. I would like to use the next years of my life to be a global voice for the planetary awakening, and to join with my friend Mark Gaffney, who has a beautiful set of mimetic codes. One of them is called the Unique Self Symphony, which is everybody is a unique self. Everyone is an irreducible expression of the impulse of creation incarnate. That's who we are. Those unique selves turning on, like you and me, becoming a symphony, which is to say being coordinated by the higher power. I don't think any engineer could coordinate 52 trillion cells becoming a body. What would it take to coordinate the arising humanity on planet Earth? What would that take? Well, I believe Internet is going to play a very strong role in it as a nervous system. It's not controlled by the existing political system. It's not controlled by nationalism. It's not part of the UN. It's actually an emerging humanity has a new nervous system. And it's currently available widely, everywhere. Mark Zuckerberg said that 1 billion people were on Facebook in one day. That's 1/7 of the entire human race. And he has the goal that everyone will be able to be on Internet. So let's say that's true. Within the next few years, it's just about true. Already. I mean, we have huge numbers of cell phones already. All of this is already true. So what I'm saying about my life, since I'm already not dead.
And you've got a lot of life there. Yeah, you've got a lot of living, Barbara.
I want to take the next 3 to 4 years of my life to amplify the idea of the planetary awakening through unique self-symphony and the methodologies of people connecting to co-create worldwide. And I'd like to make it into a truly memetic introduction. And the new memes, are you familiar with the word meme?
Yes.
A meme is like a gene creates the nature of your body. A meme and a memetic code creates the nature of your culture. Now, memes are extremely important. For example, in recent time, we had terrible memes. Nazism was a memetic code. They made it up. They made it up. Communism, Stalinistic communism, was a memetic code. The defensive policy we had was called mutually assured destruction, or MAD. That's a memetic code, that you should be secure by threatening first strike of nuclear weapons. Okay, and on and on and on of memes, right. The culture that an ethnic rivalry is memetic culture. So what we're doing, all of us who are in this now, are introducing new memes into the new millennium. The memes that we're all members of one body, that we're being born as a co-evolving species, that our crisis is a birth, that we are moving from win-lose democracy to synergistic democracy. I'm a meme maker. And so is my Mark, and we are going to reach out to the general public in simple ways to begin with, so that it doesn't have to be long diatribes, but learning how, you might say, to become more popular, more widespread with these ideas, instead of so still within an in-group. I want to do that, and I just want to spread my wings the whole way.
Oh, you are such an inspiration, Barbara. You really are. And you have a webinar that's coming up January 6th through March 23rd. And I want to talk about that to our audience so they can sign up and register for that. And
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is, in addition, this is from the book, The Evolutionary Testament of Co-Creation, The Promise Will Be Kept. Let's talk about your webinar, Barbara.
Okay, this webinar is going to be for those who'd like to incarnate the living Christ, who would like to co-create a world equal to our potential, who would like to be the creative source of their own beings. And because that's the whole text in the Evolutionary Testament, I've invited major people and teachers and theologians to be on with me each week starting January 6th. So we will have Michael Beckwith, head of the Agape Truth Center. We'll have Neil Donald Walsh of Conversations with God. We'll have Ilya Delio, the one I read to you, who said Barbara's a Christic fractal.
Wonderful.
We'll have Reverend Paul Smith, who is a major theologian. We're going to also have some progressive Christians like Doug Coe and not Doug Coe, Doug. I'm not sure Doug, but it's Kurt Johnson will be the one with Doug, who is going to put forward the idea of progressive Christianity, evolutionary Christianity. And one of the things I'm really excited about is expanding the concept of Christianity itself, taking its own sacred text, saying if you look at this with evolutionary eyes, you'll see it's a document of the future of humanity. We can do the works. We are doing the works. We bring Christ's love into the works. So I would love to see the people who truly care about the Bible and are reading the existing New Testament and are using it for inspiration in all the churches to then consider using the Evolutionary Testament of Co-Creation as a companion to the Bible, because it gives you evolutionary perspective, and it can create, study groups and all kinds of things around it. So I'm very excited, and you just go to evolutionary.academy and register. Evolutionary.academy.
Wonderful.